the bottom right-hand corner of the map. We're going to start things off with the red Protoss player. This is MaxPax. And in the top left, our blue Terran player, we have ourselves ByuN. So, that's a 3 PVT. It is going to be here in the quarterfinals. ByuN came out of a crazy series against Milky Cow, it seems. So it was like a 35-minute game too, super close. ByuN actually lost that game. Wins out in game 3 and ends up here against MaxPax, who's kind of just been cruising through the bracket so far. We've not seen any of his games, but he's been pretty decent thus far. Like I say, it looks as though there's just been a bunch of 2-0s from him, so yeah. And it seemed like every time I checked the bracket, it was an updated result from MaxPax, so it feels as though he was constantly in that position of, like I say, just winning cleanly, easily, nothing really holding him up. Maybe his biggest challenge so far today as he gets into this PvT against a ByuN, though, who has not exactly been 100% lately. ByuN, who we're kind of hoping is going to turn it around ahead of the eSports World Cup, because if ByuN doesn't start turning it around, then my goodness, is he in some trouble, because his level has just dropped off. I don't know why or what, but he's just not playing at the level that we know ByuN can play at. Not a great time to have it ahead of the biggest tournament of all time for StarCraft 2, but I'm somewhat hoping it maybe just because he's kind of holding back some builds and some stuff for eSports World Cup, and so maybe that has some impact. So yeah, I mean, like I say, ByuN, he's doing well enough to kind of get by in some of these online events, but getting by is not usually the kind of the style of ByuN. Usually he's really good in these online events and so on, right? So well, there's going to be seeing Adept is going to hit onto the Reaper a little bit. Some damage being dealt there. Command Center, Cyclone, all the things coming up from ByuN that are going to keep him fairly safe against the Stargate opening that MaxPax is currently delving into. So MaxPax will head into that Stargate, Stalker, and a Warp Gate coming up as well at the same time. Gateway continuing to come about. As our Adept is going to get there, and the Reaper will start to take some shots. Hops up to the high ground, and is going to go down as the Adept gets that kill. So the Reaper will fall. Again, 2 Marines and a Cyclone still coming up. Again, Gateway, Stalker, Phoenix, Warp Gate. Bit of everything coming through at the moment here. As I just have our Adept of MaxPax still chilling out in the center. Adept continues through. We just have our Cyclone, and our Marines are going to turn back around and jump onto that Adept. In return, Adept is going to take a few shots of damage going down now as the Cyclone gets to clean up on it. Still got our Phoenix coming through here, the Warp Gate as well. Cyclone building with the Marines on the way as well on the side of ByuN. Well, a couple of Phoenix will continue to gather around. Cyclone's Marines making their way down the left. Again, that Liberator's coming up, another Cyclone popping in a moment here from ByuN. More Marines coming out also. Phoenix go right up to the top side of the map. So they're going to head toward the upper left-hand side. There's a couple Marines that are going to come down towards the south. Phoenix able to fire. SCV going to get a grab on that as we just see our Bioforce coming through. The couple Cyclones still joining up. The Adept is going to be there. Malon gets picked off. We're still going to be seeing this pressure from ByuN. The 3 Cyclones is obviously pretty powerful, but you got to be careful. Stalkers and a good few Phoenix lifts, and you can absolutely overpower this as well. So A lot to look at right now here in this game one. You can see that Liberator ending up on the far right side of the map. Cyclone's Lockstalker taking a few shots. Immortal trying to fight back a little bit as well. The Immortal's actually going to get into some trouble as ByuN only just now loses his first Cyclone. He had a replacement one coming up, so it's still 3 of them. The Liberator's forced the entire mineral line off from mining here on the top side as well. Also a pretty huge factor. Robotics Bay. That'll be done on the side of MaxPax. So we finish up that Robo Bay. Marines in the tank coming back through. The Phoenix is still up to the top. The few SCVs getting taken out. We will get another couple of kills there as well. So we've got those Phoenix coming through. The Colossus, the Phoenix all building. A couple of probes on the way from MaxPax also. Add a pylon onto the list. Production tab looking good. As he just needs to figure out, though, pushing this army back so he can take his third base. The longer you get kept away from your third, the worse off you're going to be. One upgrade, stim packs continue to come through. The Phoenix can get some shots out onto the orbital command still. Going to try and slow ByuN from taking the third. MaxPax ends up taking the third on the upper side, so making it like out onto the map. Obviously, moving a base out onto the map is generally a bit of like a, you know, that's not really a great situation. Tank there is going to blast through a few Stalkers. Colossus and the Immortals able to blast through as well. There, the Phoenix lifting up the Cyclones, lifting up some Marines. It's going to be a complete cleanup, though. My goodness, MaxPax with the shutdown. 1-1 upgrades and Stimpack still continuing through. That was a hell of a shutdown, that much is for sure. Damn. What a play that was as we head back across. It's going to be having ourselves the Phoenix and the Colossus still moving through. It's going to continue up here. It is going to be MaxPax just full sending it. The Phoenix lifting up the siege tanks. I don't think we're going to last long in this as ByuN. The 2 Immortals are there for when the siege tanks drop down. They're going to melt if the Immortals target fire. Or the Phoenix just continue to lift up the tanks again and again. We actually lose one of the... we lose the Colossus. I mean, MaxPax has done enough, right? 10 SCVs killed. He's got a massive army supply lead. Reinforcements may be slow to arrive, but they will be arriving. And ByuN is in undeniably a horrible spot as he's going to try and live it out. I mean, he's got 1-1 finished up. It's just a complete lack of units from ByuN is the issue. And the Phoenix still have lift energy as well, so if they can just lift up a defensive siege tank here, I think they might still continue to see a very good little situation. So let's see what happens there. Phoenix lifting the siege tanks. I love the target fire. What ByuN is doing is he's target firing the Phoenix that's lifting the tank. So every single time the Phoenix that's lifting the tank gets killed off pretty quickly, so the tank gets dropped back down, forcing another lift to be used. I mean, MaxPax gets more SCVs killed, but you could argue that obviously while he gets more SCVs, he did maybe lose a little bit more army than what was necessary on this. We have our Phoenix continuing to get back onto that orbital. He's going to go straight to this. Orbital burning, but can of course be repaired. Fire coming across, Phoenix taking some shots. Concussive shells and combat shields both still building into play. The +1 on the charge coming through also. Just getting a lot of that into action here as our Phoenix come back over. Plaza still rallying out onto the low ground. Our Phoenix are back up around the top. What is our next step of all this? Phoenix pulling back to the army Shanks still sieged on the top side. We do have army of MaxPax moving forwards towards the upper left. Temple Archive is about halfway done. Our Observer and our +2 attack upgrade coming in now as well. There's a little warp in of a few Zealots. That's going to come in. MaxPax ready to launch himself at this top left side. It's just going to get rid of a few more SCVs. Really felt like this was just going to end, and ByuN found a defense on the natural, I think, just slowed it down a little bit too much, perhaps. Just gonna fire, medevac goes down, a little bit of bio still chasing. That's the Immortal, the Colossus, continue to run back there. We do have Libs, Marines, and Marauders still all coming through too. Colossus firing, a few Marines going down. See those tanks all getting lifted. That's going to depower a lot of what ByuN's working on here. Can the bio on the ground get to the Colossus? That would be the question mark. Answer is absolutely not. It's going to be GG's. And MaxPax is going to take game 1 of this best of 3. So he gets the top right-hand side. Our red Protoss player is going to be from Storm MaxPax at 1-0. Takes on the blue Terran. In the bottom left corner of the map, we have ByuN. Melvin, thank you so much for the 9-month resub here on the channel. Thank you very much indeed. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Refinery coming about. Obviously, we get ourselves settled in and look to see what the plan becomes. Typical Zealot getting built, Orbital and the Marine coming about as well as we get that up and running here. Well, the command center goes down on the natural. As we just have an Nexus, a Cybercore coming up. Where in the UK am I from? From the northeast. My accent sounds a bit Scottish. People are very good at picking up on the very small bits of accent that I have. It's incredible. I'm always impressed when people identify even somewhat close. Because I couldn't do it. Can't do it at all. I'm terrible at accents. Warp gate coming by then from MaxPax. So we get that on the go. The Nexus coming through. Just going to see the Adept Chrono boosting out of the gateway as well, so bringing that up. Squish. Well, I mean, it's in the right direction of the country, I guess. You know. A Marine going to fight the Zealot. Just going to be seeing the SCV. Going to get chased around a little bit as well. Adept is going to clean up the Marine here as we just have the other Adept coming back around. Getting that blink on the way, that warp gate coming up, a few adepts and the zealot here still causing trouble, and finally the cyclone should be a much better kind of hold against this. As the adepts going to shade through into the mineral line in the main though, so in they go. As we just go to try and find a few of these SCVs. Probe facility coming online from MaxPax, getting this underway still. We have ourselves the Cloak and the Banshee coming up on the side of ByuN, so getting that up and running. The couple of Marines continue to come through as well. All said and done here, MaxPax lost 1 Zealot, killed 4 SCVs, killed 2 Marines, slowed the CC down. Already feels like an amazing start for MaxPax. He's on a 13 worker lead, and MaxPax has absolutely got to be loving his starting point here for this game too. Feels like a great start for him. What a fantastic way for things to be going thus far. As a couple of adepts going to go after some SCVs here. 2 SCVs going down already. Looking for more. Prism Blink continuing up. We will see our Cloak, Banshee, and Tank continue to come through as well. Right, next coming through, the couple of probes and the observer coming about. Hyperflight Rotors is on the way as well at the moment, so bring that through too. So we're going to start getting some SCVs, man. ByuN is not in a position of taking even more damage. Banshees, I believe, spotted there as well, man. With the Hyperflight Rotors, he is absolutely needing these Banshees to get something done. That is quite the investment. So it's going to move up again. Tank coming in, Stimpack coming through, getting that settled down. Charge and +1 both coming up. On the side of MaxPax, we do have MaxPax with the Stalkers in the main base now. There's a tank here though, but we can still get 2 SCVs before we eat too many tank shots. And that's going to be a good defense there. And the Banshees, as MaxPax has the observers. So again, Hyperflight Rotors makes it a little bit difficult to kind of keep up with the Banshees, but I mean, this was not exactly the game-ending damage or turnaround damage that we kind of needed from ByuN. Stalkers will blink in. They should be able to find another Banshee, so that's 1 Banshee killed. Now ByuN is just not getting enough out of this at all. Logan, thank you so much for the 50-month resub. As Dad Decisions comes in with the 4-month resub as well on the Prime. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much for supporting. Thank you so much. You guys are awesome. Thank you. Thank you. It just feels as though MaxPax is setting up to... I mean, okay, ByuN's hitting some upgrades and stuff, but man, MaxPax has had just such a great start to the game. Can we kill this Banshee? We can. Runs out of cloaking there. The observer was in view anyway. Well, stack defense coming up as we get that 4th base established too. So just going to try and get that ready to go. Give me a second forge coming down, so MaxPax can start to work on some armor upgrades as well. +1 attack, combat shield, both being brought into play still. Factory also about halfway done. A couple of CCs coming around as well. Prism's still set up as I'm Medivacs on the top side. Just want to figure out what it is that they are about to get up to. Couple of barracks on the way up here from ByuN. We get those on the way. Medivac still moving around on the top side. The Stalkers will be at the front as well. Again, +2 attack. Extended thermal lance, all being built. MaxPax just extending on his early game lead. And that extended thermal lance finishing shortly. +2 attack, +1 armor coming about right now. Continue to bring that into play. Like I say, just more and more for MaxPax to work on. I like this because he's just poking with the Stalkers that he can absolutely afford to just kind of leave here and to keep an eye on things with. He's still got the main bulk of his army back at home. Cyclone will get killed there. And you're going to see this drop able to get the +1 armor, so hey, one of the forges of MaxPax goes down. The problem is, this is still costing you units, and at the same time, MaxPax is denying your third base at this point. Prism may get shot down, sure, but Zealot in the main is still finding some SCVs. I mean, it's just not good enough for ByuN. He is trailing in so many ways. He's got so much space he needs to make up in this game. This one is kind of done. Well, Medivac's being chased around. MaxPax might just be able to get a bigger push across the map now. He's got to be feeling as though his army is... I mean, he's maxed out. Any time he gives ByuN now is just giving ByuN a chance to build an army, which he should never really get a chance to get to. See that Guardian Shield coming up. We are going to see a lot of tanks here. It makes it a more difficult fight to take. People's trying to create some sort of a choke point. At the end of the day, though, MaxPax is just so far ahead that this is not going to matter. GG's. MaxPax 2, ByuN 0. MaxPax goes to the